What's going on, everyone? It's Rocky in real time, and I'm back at you with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to discuss how I plan on retiring before I turn 40. And I want to preface this video by saying, this is not any sort of financial advice. This is merely inspiration. You should always do your own due diligence, your own research, and do what works best for you. I just want to give you a glimpse into my world and basically give you some inspiration on, how you can go about things, right? But always do your own research, always do your own due diligence, seek out a financial advisor. I've talked to financial advisors, and it's something that you should do before you embark on this journey, or while you're embarking on this journey periodically. And a lot of books and a lot of resources, a lot of these sort of financial gurus, if you will, like Robert Kiyosaki, Tim Ferriss, and a bunch of others, they advocate for you to become rich, or just to live off your investments. You have to drastically reduce your expenses and increase your income. So by moving to Brazil, I did that. I think Brazil is a great country because it's a very neutral BRICS country. It's very developing. I mean, you've seen in the past decade, they've hosted a World Cup. They've hosted, Formula One races, the one that Lewis Hamilton just won. They've hosted an Olympic Games as well. And your human development index has to be quite high for you to host these kind of things, especially in your major cities. And the development in Brazil is projected to make it a superpower within the next 20, 30 years. And I wanted to take advantage of that. I wanted to get in early, start buying real estate property, maybe set up a few online businesses and things like that, which I'm doing right now. And my inspiration for this really comes from two pages. So there's this one page, and I'll link it here. I've talked about it a few times before, but it's this page called CNBC Make It. And CNBC Make It is basically a YouTube page in where they talk about millennial stories, and they talk about people who are fired up. So if you don't know what FIRE means, FIRE is an acronym for people who are like in that financially savvy and frugal space, and it stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. So basically, these people in these stories that this page CNBC Make It, they detail, a lot of people have moved abroad. They're making high six-figure salaries, and they move to a country, and I've talked about this in one of my older videos, and they've moved to a country where the expenses are low. A lot of these are like the Philippines, Thailand, Costa Rica, Mexico. I've seen a few times. I've seen several stories that they've done on people who moved to Mexico. A lot of Americans are moving to Mexico City. I don't know why. Not knocking it, definitely not knocking it, but there's something about Mexico City, and me and my wife, we plan on visiting soon, so maybe we'll find out. But yeah, there's this whole FIRE movement, and people are realizing that you don't have to stay in the U.S. to live a good life. I mean, the land of milk and honey, yeah, it's cool, and opportunities exist everywhere. A lot of countries are growing. The world is changing in many ways, and COVID has allowed us to understand that we can work remote. We can do a lot of things with just the internet. So using that experience that we had, that we were all under lockdown, we can now sort of carve out a trajectory for our future. And besides CNBC Make It, they did cover one family that has a YouTube page with over 636,000 subscribers. It's called Our Rich Journey. And they were like my main sort of inspiration, if you will, for, me carving out this plan. So basically, Our Rich Journey is this family, this black family. I forget where they're from. I think they're from like the Midwest or somewhere. I might be wrong. I might just link where they're from, or like put it on a screen or whatever. But they're Americans nonetheless. They have two daughters, and they moved to Portugal. I think the dad was making like 120K, and the mom was making like 90 or 70K or something. I don't think their total income was up to 200,000, right? But they started being frugal. They started investing in real estate, and they started paying off their student loans and doing things systematically, and with a plan in mind, diligently, and they were able to retire at like 39 and 40 or something like that. So I don't have any children right now. Me and my wife, we don't have any children. We live in a country that's a lot cheaper than the United States, and we're using mostly my income, and we're investing in lots of things. So we have cryptocurrencies, we have real estate that we're building here. We have a beach house in Camaçari, which is a city right outside of Salvador, and we're just like renovating it. We have S&P 500. We have a bunch of things. And again, this is not financial advice. These are just some of the things that we're investing in. So I'm just dumping a lot of my salary, the extra money that I have left over after every month I'm just dumping that in just the various investments. And, by the calculations that I'm making, by the average return on these ETFs and things like that I'm investing in, I'm projected to retire by 35, 37. Between then, it also depends on how much I decide to put in every month. If I have like, 7K left over, I might decide to put everything, or I might decide to only put 2 or 3K or whatever. So it really just depends on me and how aggressive I am with my investing. But there's 2 things that I am doing that, or 3 things really, that is going to make this possible. 1, I'm working more than one remote job, right? I'm working more than one remote job in tech. And there's this excellent community on Reddit that's been around, since like a little bit before the pandemic, or like during the pandemic, called OverEmployed, and I'll link it in the description. And basically they have tips, tricks, and strategies for working 2 remote jobs at the same time. I mean, you guys have seen my office, but I'll clip a little video of it here again. I have pretty much optimized my office for working 2 remote jobs. I have 2 screens in front of me right here, 2 in behind me, 1 computer there, another computer here. I just swivel and turn. And I also have this little Pomodoro timer. Basically, I just time box my work. So basically it has like different times, 60 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and like 30 minutes. And you turn the side face up. And then like the 30-minute timer would start depending on which face is facing up, or the 60-minute timer. I just put the 60-minute timer down, I got a phone lockbox as well. I put my phone in a lockbox, and then I just like start work on this job. And then when that timer goes off, I go to the next one, or maybe do some personal work or whatever. But I try and time box myself working 2 remote jobs. That's number 1. So number 2 is I found 5 solid investments that I'm investing in. So I already mentioned crypto. I already mentioned ETFs. I already mentioned, just dividend paying stocks, and real estate as well. So I'm investing in these things, and I'm always looking for new things to invest in as well. So like, make sure you have a very diverse investment portfolio. Again, also talk to a financial advisor, because before I started doing this, I talked to a financial advisor. And there's another community called Boggleheads, and they're a good investment community as well. They're a Reddit community. I'll link it in the description as well. I use those 2 communities, like OverEmployed, Boggleheads, and a bunch of other different resources that I use to sort of like give me insight on investing, whether it be like apps or like different Reddit communities. And I'll link all of them here in the description or put them on the screen. But basically, I'm always looking for ways to diversify my investment portfolio and invest money, right? So we've got working, overemployed, we've got investing and diversifying my investment portfolio, and the granddaddy of them all, which is basically allowing me to aggressively do this and do it quicker, is moving to a cheaper country and living pretty much a really good lifestyle, and still not like being super frugal, and still living pretty good. You know what I mean? Just because if I was in New York, I'd have to get a roommate, and I'd have to like cut back on a lot of expenses. And even though I'm making this high salary, I still wouldn't be living a nice lifestyle. But by moving to another country where the cost of living is a lot cheaper, I'm able to maintain a high lifestyle, but still save a lot of money. So that's, you know, the third thing that I'm doing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But go check out Our Rich Journey. I'm not affiliated with them or anything like that. It's just like a page that I use for, you know, this is one of my resources and one of my inspirations, because they pretty much set down a plan and they did it in less than 10 years, right? And, you know, I plan on, you know, following that in my own sort of way. Also follow CNBC Make It. They have a lot of stories about how people are doing this as well, both in and out of the United States, how they're investing and how they plan on retiring early. There's a bunch of unique stories. Most of them are millennials or Gen Z. So yeah, it's a good resource to check out as well. Also check out those Reddit communities I mentioned. And there's a bunch of them like business ideas, Reddit/business ideas, entrepreneurship. There's a bunch of communities I'm in. Just get a Reddit and just follow all these business pages and subscribe to their updates. So you just like have updates on just different things, and you'll always be reminded of different ideas that you can do or follow up on, because there's a lot of really creative people out there on the internet and on Reddit. So I just absolutely recommend just diving into some of their communities and getting all the knowledge that they have out there. So that's basically it. Just a really quick video. Like, I just wanted to just describe how I'm doing this and how I plan on doing this. So just to recap, number one is you want to dramatically increase your income, and I'm doing that by working 2 remote jobs. Number two, you want to have a financial plan. You want to have a financial plan, sit down with your planner, do your own research, maybe a combination of the both of 2 of those things. I did too. I sat down with a financial advisor, and I was already doing my research. So by the time I sat down with a financial advisor, I already had a lot of questions and things for him. And a lot of these like financial advisors are going to charge you to manage your portfolio. Some of them are like from 3 to 5%. So you figure out whether that's worth it for you. For me, I already did a lot of research, at least 1.5 years worth of research. So when I sat down with a financial planner, I decided like, yo, he's doing things that I already kind of know how to do, and it's kind of not worth it for me. But you might not have that much time to research and do all that stuff. So you might delegate that task to someone else, and you might see that it's worth it for someone else to manage your portfolio. That's totally fine, as long as you're taking those steps towards investments. So yeah, do your research, invest. Once you got your 2-job situation kicked off, and also move to a cheaper country. Move to a country like Brazil, or like Costa Rica, or like Thailand, like the Philippines, or like Ghana, or like South Africa. Like, move to one of those countries where the development index is pretty high, right? Where you can still live a high quality of life, and you have all of these, I recommend countries that like have a lot of beauty around them, like beaches and nature and all that other stuff, because that does something for your psyche, right? I have the beach like right down the street from me, and it does something for me. I get to walk by the beach during my lunch break, and it's a beautiful beach. Like, you know, that does something to you. And there's a bunch of other beaches like less than an hour away, and I can go chill in and just relax at for the weekend. So that helps you out. That scenic sort of beauty that you see every once in a while, that does help you out, and it does make you more calm, and it makes you sort of more invigorated. Whenever you feel burnt out, you just go to the beach. I just go to the beach and chill. I'm like, all right, let me get back on my stuff. So yeah, so pick a beautiful country, but one that's high on the human development index. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, just income, make sure you increase it dramatically. You make sure you're investing, and make sure you're living in a country that is way cheaper, and where you could live way below your means, or way below the means that you were living in and living on in the United States. And yeah, and it's pretty much that simple. And I'll link like Our Rich Journey in the channel and on my video, like I said, in the description. And not to be too long-winded, but that's pretty much it. Like, I have literally a simple plan that I've put together. I like have my investments that I have, sort of dipping into, not really dipping into, but pouring into. And the overemployed situation I'm doing, working 2 jobs, and just living in a cheaper country. So that's pretty much the formula. Again, do your research on your investment part. Do your research and figure out what are the best investments for you and how much you want to put in these investments every month. But that's pretty much it. I hope I have, inspired somebody to be fired up, to be financially independent, and to go and reach their goals and take their time back. This is really what this is about, taking your time back. I saw my immigrant parents, work well into their 60s, and I decided early on that's not going to be my destiny. But I also decided that along this journey I'm going on, I'm going to help people. I'm going to lift as I climb. So as I'm, learning all these things, I'm also teaching and giving, back to a community that I see is growing, because more Americans are moving out of the United States. This is becoming a growing trend. And for me, I know that there wasn't too many resources that I could lean on to get inspiration and advice and just tips from. So that's part of why I started this channel, just to give back to that community that's growing. So, to all my expats and future expats, I hope this video was of value to you. And, I hope you have a good night. Happy Sunday, or whatever day you're watching this. Just have a good day.